All right, this has to be the last video about this beneficial ownership interest form that we're all supposed to have filed by January 31st. Well, there's been an update. So a couple weeks ago, I did a video about the Corporate Transparency Act that requires that every small business files a beneficial ownership interest form. I did a video about it. There I am looking very confused. I think everybody was confused that this lower court said, hey, nobody has to do this. This law is unconstitutional. Well, the government said, hold on. And they appealed that lower court's decision to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. And we finally got an answer. The Fifth Circuit actually said, no, lower court, you actually got it wrong. And we're going to reverse your decision for these 4 reasons. The first reason that the Fifth Circuit reversed the decision is because they say, hey, Congress has every right to pass laws that regulate commerce and regulate potential crimes. So that's what they're saying this Corporate Transparency Act is doing. It is making sure that people are filing their taxes and not laundering money. The next factor that the court considered was whether the public interest having this law passed outweighed the burden on the small businesses. When you consider the beneficial ownership interest form is literally a couple minutes to get it done, they say that is not nearly the burden that we could potentially that would harm small businesses when considering hopefully the financial crimes that we stop from happening, the money laundering that we stop from happening with this Corporate Transparency Act. The third factor that the court considered was how much of a burden was this, and they said that the plaintiffs in this case, the small business representatives that were filing this unconstitutional claim, they didn't really prove that it was much of a burden. Anybody that's done this knows that it's only taken a couple minutes to actually get done. There's a couple kind of annoying things you got to do, like uploading a driver's license to prove who you are, but otherwise very simple. So they said, hey, the burden's not that bad. That's not going to work. The final consideration on the court was, hey, was this a violation of some sort of privacy rights to these small businesses from having to file who is the actual owner of these either corporations or limited liability companies? And the government said, no, there's no violation of privacy here. These are private filings. No one's going to be able to obtain them. No one can make a sunshine request on what these things are. So it's not that big of a deal. So long story short, the court said the complaints by the plaintiff were all weak and they didn't count. So it is constitutional. They reversed the lower court's decision. So what does this mean now that the court has found it constitutional? It means that you got to get the filing done. So you have about 5 days left in 2024. No panic. They decided to extend the filing deadline to January 13th. So you do have to get the filing done. If you don't file it, I think it's something like $591 per day for failure to file on time. They've given you like 2 years to do it. So there's no excuse. Get it done. It's very simple. If you don't want to do it, pay somebody else to do it. They will gladly do it and take your money. And remember, the filing deadline, January 13th, you can be fined all the way up to $10,000 per failing company. So if you have 10 LLCs and you didn't do it because you're like, you can be fined $1 bazillion. So get it done. It's not very hard. Figure it out. You're a smart person. If you started a business, you're smart enough to get these things done. Hopefully you learned a little. And hopefully this is the last video you see from me about this thing.